All right. Hello, guys. How are y'all doing today? This is Jen Moretti with Blue Arrow Lending. We're going to give it just a minute for a couple more people to jump on here, and then we're going to get started. Couple of things, housekeeping things. I'm taking you all off of mute. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing this. Yes, I have done a few of these webinars, and it is so weird talking into a camera and I don't hear anybody back talking to me. So feel free, we're going to interact on this class, on this master class. If you have questions, let me know. We'll answer questions after every slide. And then if you don't want to just jump up and shout out your question, you can also put it in the chat. You can either put it out to everyone or you can just ask me, and we'll check on those at the end of class and answer any questions that you might have then too. And I want you guys to know this is a circle of trust, right? No dumb questions. This is for everyone to learn and grow and get better together, no matter what the market's doing. Okay, so I'm going to take just a hot minute. We're going to check in with a couple of folks. I'm going to unmute you so we can do that. And when you're looking at your control console for GoToWebinar, you should have like a little hand icon, right? Like I said, we're going to interact here, and if you raise your hand or anything like that, I'm going to be looking at that. I'm going to be looking for you guys to raise your hand. We're going to like raise the roof. And if you don't know me in person, I'm a little bit nerdy and somewhat awkward, so just work with me on this one, okay? All right, so I'm going to do that. Okay, we're going to give the little hand raise a test. Can you guys all find your hand? Raise your hand. Let's raise the roof. Can you do it for me? Ready, go. Amanda, Lisa, yes, I love it. Okay, come on, guys. Awesome. All right, cool. All right, fabulous. Our hands are working. Okay, so let's jump in. I think we are good to start. I know that we have an hour here, so I want to be mindful of everybody's time. And we'll just jump right in. Okay, did all of our housekeeping stuff. So I have a question for everybody. Again, this is your hand raising here. So let's talk about the market, because I want to get an idea of what we're working with and kind of where you're at in your business. So who is happy with our market right now? Raise your hand. Who is over the moon ecstatic? Love it, Gregory. Who is a little bit worried or nervous about what's to come or what to expect? Yep, awesome. Okay, seeing some more hands there. Okay, and then who doesn't care about either of them, doesn't care about the market, but you just care about doing more on your personal production? Who's that? Raise your hand. That should be everybody, guys. That's the whole point of this class. Oh my goodness. Everybody's hands should be raised. Y'all thought you were going to get away with working on the side, huh? No, not today. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's jump in. The market can be a little nerve-wracking right now. I want to assure you guys that this is just a cycle. We have seen these cycles before. I don't want to say there's nothing new, because COVID did throw kind of a curveball at us, but this is a standard cycle. We have interest rates go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. When interest rates go down, for example, the last 2 years, interest rates were insanely low. You see that it takes more money, prices go up, inventory goes down. Obviously, that was apparent in the last couple of years when inventory was extremely tight and buyers were having difficulty winning contracts. So when interest rates go down, you start to see a lack of inventory. That's totally normal. When interest rates go up, you start to see inventory, more inventory on the market, less people qualify because of the interest rates, and then the market kind of softens or slows down. Now, how many people, show of hands, how many people were in real estate prior to 2019? Raise your hand. Cool, awesome. All right, we got some folks. So 2019 was a normal market. Interest rates were actually going up back then. And then when the pandemic hit, obviously we all know what happens, craziness with interest rates and inventory. Excuse me. So I have seen, obviously, I've been in the mortgage industry since 2013. I've seen the cycle of interest rates going up, interest rates going down. Obviously, I lived through 2020. I'm still here in 2021, but I've been in finance since 2003. So I was a witness to the dot-com bust. That was another cycle. I was a witness to the Great Recession. Obviously, we've all heard of that one. And then, of course, COVID as well. And this is just another cycle to be aware of. And it's gonna go through its phase, and then we'll move on. So let's jump in. Now you know a little bit about me and where I've kind of come from on the lending side. Let's talk about the market. What's actually happening? So envision yourself walking through beautiful apple orchard, right? Last 2 years, we're going to talk about a lot about the last 2 years and what to expect now. So you're walking through this apple orchard, you're like dragging your bucket to pick up apples, and you're just kind of like walking into the apple orchard, and all of the apples are just falling into your bucket. You don't have to do a ton of work. Now, I preface that with, I'm not speaking poorly of anybody, but it was like there were so many leaves, there were so many apples out there, you just didn't have time to catch them all, right? There wasn't enough time in the day. So you walk into this apple orchard, and then you walk like 20 feet, and then you turn around and you walk back out, and your apple, your bushel, you have a bushel of apples, and it's full to the brim. And you have to just basically sort through that to see who you can help in this moment, and then who maybe you don't have time to help. Now, same apple orchard, right? We're talking about today's market. This time, you may actually have to pick up that bucket, right? Might be a little bit heavy. And then you're gonna take your bucket and walk into the apple orchard. And apples aren't just gonna fall into your bucket. You might get a few of them, right? Some of those happen. But you may actually have to go up to the tree and pick out the apple. Or you may have to climb up onto the little stool and pick the apple and put it in your bucket. You may have to walk a little bit further into the apple orchard than 20 feet, right? There's more work, there's more effort for the same amount, that bushel of apples. But it's not super complex. It's just doing the activities. So this is the same concept, just doing the activities that gets those apples in your bucket. So, oh, we still got some hands raised. All right. Does somebody have a question? Did somebody have a question? Okay, I don't think so. All right, perfect. So when you're talking to your clients, say you're talking to a listing, obviously setting expectations is a little bit different from the last 2 years as well. The last 2 years, you just kind of like fly on in there. You're like, hey, we're gonna list your house. Thursday, it's gonna go live. Don't touch anything. Don't do any repairs. Don't even worry about picking up your stuff. Maybe make the beds, and then you need to get out of town because you don't want to be here for 100 showings over the weekend. And then we'll reconvene on Monday, and we'll talk about the 30 offers that you got, and we'll pick the highest and best. Oh, and if you think your home is worth this, let's add about 10% on, and we're probably going to get beyond that too. I am the greatest realtor of all times. Send me your referrals. Like that, insane, awesome. Wish that happened all the time, but that was the last 2 years. Setting expectations now is a little bit different, and it reminds me of 2018, 2019, and a lot of our realtor partners are saying, you know, back then we were saying, we're going to list your home on the market. You know, we'll probably get a couple of showings every week. Expect the house to maybe be on the market anywhere from 3 to 6 months, but we'll get a good offer, and then you'll go under contract somewhere between 3 to 6 months. And let me tell you guys, that's actually a balanced market. That is a good market to be in. That means that we have good inventory. That means that we have enough supply to meet demand, and things are pretty balanced. So setting expectations is huge in that we may not be in the market that we had 2020 and 2021. Raise your hand if you can see that. Can you see the change in the market? And let me know if for some reason you're not seeing that, or maybe your market is different. Okay, cool, awesome. All right, so next up, we're going back to basics. So setting those expectations. This is a different market. Talking to your sellers, talking to your buyers. We're in a buyer's market right now. It's incredible to see that buyers are winning homes. I spent 2 years making 30 phone calls to listing agents and still not winning the deal. So it is fantastic to finally see that buyers are winning. But what that means for us is that we will have more effort that we have to put into our daily work, into our weekly activities. And the people that are going to win, that are going to step up and do more, are the ones that are going to go back to basics. They're going to be the ones that put in the effort. And let me just say this, I know a lot of folks that I coach and I work with, that they started out and their strategy was hope. Man, I hope that somebody calls me today, or I hope that I can get a listing. Hope is not a strategy, but putting in the efforts, putting in the activities on a daily basis will get you that phone call. And while we're talking about that, we have to talk about mentality. Who has a morning routine? Does anybody have a morning routine? Yes, love it. Yes. Woo! I got a couple people in here. Nobody has a morning routine. Oh, there we go. We're seeing some more hands. All right, cool. Mentality. Your mentality. You are the only person that limits your efforts, your outcomes, your productivity. Envision this. Say your broker or your mentor, your coach, or even me, we're holding 2 checks. We got 2 checks that we're holding up right here. One for $100,000 in your name, and one for $100,000 to your favorite charity. 200 grand right here. The only caveat is you have to bring a warm lead within 24 hours. Yeah, you have to bring in a warm lead for yourself within 24 hours. Who is getting that money? Raise your hand. Woo! Yes, I love it. We're seeing some hands. Come on, guys. Everybody wants the 100 grand, right? Goodness gracious. Do we have some people that are asleep? Raise your hand if you want 100 grand. There we go. All right, cool. So if you have that mentality, I'm getting that warm lead within 24 hours, right? No question about it. I am not coming back empty-handed and I'm going to get that money. Then your mentality has changed, right? You're going in, you're starting your day, you know what you need to do, you're ready to do it, and you're not going to leave until you do it, until you accomplish what you need to win that money. Mentality plays a huge, huge part in what you do. Being passionate, being pumped up, being ready to go, and explaining that to your clients and your coaches, your partners, it all plays a role. So we always have to talk about mentality, because if you walk into the office like this and you don't want to do it, it's not going to happen. It won't. But if you walk in and you're ready to take on the day, and you're going to make that warm lead happen, it's going to happen. There's something about the universe that also helps you make it happen too. But that's a talk for another day. So, all right, I'm a lender. I love numbers. Let's talk about numbers. This is the part where you're going to take notes if you haven't already. Let me see what time we got. Okay, cool. This activity, this means that we're working with a database of 400 people. 400 people in your database or in your sphere. I know it sounds like a lot, but when I talk about people in your sphere, in your database, I'm talking about, do they pass the grocery test? So if you walked into the grocery store, would you recognize them? Would you wave? Would you wave and say hi? This is mom and dad, obviously. These are cousins and siblings. This is your CPA that you work with or your financial planner that you work with. This includes your vendors, maybe home insurance or inspectors that you know. It could be like my kids' teachers. They pass the grocery test. I say hi to them in the grocery store. They all know what I do, right? So we're working off of the assumption that you have 400 people in your database. If you don't have 400 or you can't think of that, or you can't think of the people in your database, call me. We'll walk through it. I'll help you with it. Of your 400 people, NAR, oh gosh, it's probably been a year now, but NAR, the National Association of Realtors, has a statistic out that says Americans move every 4 to 7 years. Every 4 to 7 years. Has anybody heard that statistic? Anybody? Cool. Yep. It's a good one. 4 to 7 years. All right. We're going to be conservative on our estimate. We're going to say 7 years for people to move. So every 7 years, Americans will move. So how many times does 7 go into 400? Oh, I'm sorry, it's not 400. How many times does 7 go into 100? 15? 15 is like 14.3. We're going to round up, say 15 times. So 15 times 4 for 400 people in your database is 60 people. So if you have a database of 400 people, 60 people, 15% of your database is going to move every year. That is 60 people are just going to naturally move every year. All you have to do is stay in front of them. There's your 5. Webinar over. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're not. Don't hang up. So this is just natural movement in the market. 60 people every year, if you have this database, are going to move. And you just need to be the person that they think of. This webinar, this class, doesn't even count that. That's like icing on the cake. That's the extra gravy, baby. So let's dive in. 6 activities. 6 activities, again, note taking is good, that you want to do. Long-term benefits, financial freedom. Who's in it for financial freedom? One way or another. Who's in it to do things that they love or spend time with those that they love? Yeah, I know that's me. I got 2 little boys. I love what I do, but I love them more. And I do what I do so that I can be with them. All right, cool. 6 activities. Let's jump in. Number 1, letter of the heart. This is a letter that you send out every month. It can be a postcard. It can be, it can be a letter. This is a letter that you send out every month to your database. And it tells them about something genuine, something from the heart, something authentic. In this day and age, social media, people want others that are going to be authentic and genuine and human, people that are going to be themselves. There's a lot of, I don't want to say fake, that would be too harsh. Maybe people don't show the messy side of life. So that's something that when you are building that relationship with your database or your clients or your vendors, you want to have that authenticity. You want to be genuine. Letter of the heart is when you write a letter, maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs long, not crazy, 2 sentences, maybe 3 sentences at the most. And you talk about something that happened in your life that month or recently. This does not count. Like, you don't want to go in and be like, hey, I just went to Europe. We just did A, B, and C. We had 2 weeks where it was just amazing. And here's a picture of us in another country or whatever. It's not that. It is the messy part of life, right? For example, my youngest just went to kindergarten this year, and I had a rough time with that. So my letter of the heart is, hey, I didn't even think about it. My youngest went into kindergarten. I thought it was going to be a really tough, strong, like it wasn't going to faze me, but I was a hot mess because it made me realize that that's our youngest and he's already in grade school. And how many people can relate to that? sending their youngest off, or even sending their oldest off to school, and like it hits you, oh my gosh, the baby's gone to school, or the baby's gone to college, or something like that. People will reach out and they will commiserate with you. They will talk to you about how that how an experience like that happened to them as well, and they will support you, and that's what you want. So the purpose of Letter of the Heart is connection and building that relationship through rapport. And yes, that's once a month, every month. There's a really good company called Reaching Neighbors that does that for you. And you can kind of put that on autopilot. You know, you send them what you want to put on there. You can send that postcard out every month. So number one, oh my goodness, guys, I had lunch and it's just like, whew, a mess up here. Number one, Letter of the Heart. Number two, evidence of success. This is another letter or postcard. You can do either one or both. Evidence of success is, hey, I'm an awesome realtor. This is why. This does not include like just listed or just closed or just sold. This is something that you are going to write an evidence of success, something that shows that you are out there promoting your business, that you are successful and you're helping clients. A good example of this is going to be like for example, as a lender, we're talking a lot about 2-1 buy downs. That's a big topic right now. So you can go in and do a letter or an evidence of success and say, compare the two, right? You can say, if you were to list your home and drop the price by $10,000, here it would only save the potential buyer, you know, $50 a month. Versus here, if you did a seller 2-1 buy down and kept the $10,000 on the list price, but gave the buyer closing cost, here's how it would impact the buyer, which is like, depending on your price point, somewhere from $200 to $400 a month. And you can compare the two, and that shows that you're an expert in your field. You're bringing them value. You're explaining the market because you're giving them an update on what the market's doing. And you're going to send that out every month as well. I know it's a lot. So that's 24 letters every year. And the way that we have ours set up is like on the 1st and the 15th. So on the 1st, they'll get the Letter of the Heart. On the 15th, they'll get the evidence of success. And then so on and so forth. And you just tag team that. All right. Any questions on that so far? If you have a question, raise your hand, or you can just pop in, unmute yourself. All right, cool. I don't see any questions. Awesome. All right. Letter of the Heart once a month. Evidence of success once a month. Client parties. Yes, that's a thing. And I know right now I am all about being conservative or being frugal in the market that we're in. It doesn't have to like break the bank for a client party. You want to do these client parties 2 to 4 times a year, right? At the very least, 1 every 6 months. Ideally, 1 every quarter. So you want to throw client parties. And again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like for example, it wasn't a party, but we did a coffee day. People could stop by a local coffee house and pick up a cup of coffee on us, any of our clients. That's one example. A client party, you can do, I've had people do movie theaters, like rent out movie theaters. I don't think it's that expensive, maybe a couple $100, depending on, you know, the show that you want to, the movie that you want to put, where it's located. It doesn't have to be super extravagant. I know people that have done barbecues at their house, right? Just a weekend barbecue with their clients. But client parties, absolutely, at least twice a year. Holy cow, that sun is bright. Or ideally every quarter for the client parties. Another one, I mean, it's kind of tough to do it right now, but pumpkin patches were big. Like you could give everybody a ticket and go to a pumpkin patch, happy hour, something like that for your client parties. That allows you to like connect with them too in person. Obviously, you've helped them, you've seen them in person while you're doing their transaction, but now they kind of see you, you're fun, you're a lot of fun to hang out with, you have all this information, they see you around, and you're celebrating your clients and their home ownership. So these are the first 3 here. First 3 activities. Are we good? All right, raise your hand if we're cool to move on to the next one. No, we want to stay here. All right, cool. All right, next up is birthdays. You have to keep track of your clients' birthdays and call them on their birthday. Yes, 100%. Not sending an email. I'm guilty of this too. But if you call them on their birthday, that's yet another touch point. Depending on the type of client you have, like for example, if you have a new build client, so that could be 6 or 9 months out on that build, you'll probably have some birthday in that time frame, close to it. Call them on their birthday, and you don't have to do like anything super serious. You can just call them and be like, "Happy birthday," right? And it gets them in front of you again. Shows that you're human, fun. If you're not fun, if you're not goofy, that's totally cool. Do whatever your temperament, whatever you are, right? Don't try to fake it. Like I said, I'm awkward. I'm a little bit goofy. It's all good. So birthdays, I send text messages too. I'm a GIF. I love memes. So I'll send GIFs and memes and I'll call them. A lot of times I don't get them. I'll leave a voicemail, sing to them, happy birthday. People love it. Think about how many people get happy birthday on social media. Maybe they'll get a text message for a happy birthday. I seriously had a client, when I called them for their birthday, they're like, you're the only person who called me aside from my mom. The only person. Everybody else did it through social media or text message. That leaves a lasting impression. And if you have enough clients, if you're working through 400 people in your database, you're going to be calling at least one almost every day, probably 2. So happy birthdays. Reach out to your clients and do happy birthday calls. Anniversaries. This is a big one for us as well. When somebody, we call it a loan anniversary, but home anniversaries, when people bought their home a year down the road, you give them a call. Just see how they're doing. Bonus points if you have HomeBot. If you don't have HomeBot or you don't know what it is, get with me after, I'll explain it. It's an amazing tool, but you can use that on your home anniversaries. When you're calling them and checking in, you can let them know, hey, I can't believe a year has passed and you have been in your home. How are things going? Have you unpacked that last box yet? Sometimes there's a big life event, or they need to refinance, or they want to move, like that happens all the time. Another one that you can do that kind of goes hand in hand with anniversaries are anybody that you did a new home build, typically their builder's warranty is up at 12 months. If you call them at 11 months and say, hey, go through, do an inspection on your home on the 11th month and make sure that anything needs to be repaired that was broken or malfunctioned, you need to put that in for your home warranty before you hit 12 months. And they have that time frame, right? You're checking in, you're showing that you're paying attention. And something like that, those are the pros. The pros do that. 11 months, check in, new build, go through your home warranty, see if anything needs to be claimed. Because you can save folks, I mean, gosh, depending on what needs to be repaired, a couple $1,000s sometimes. So that's another one, but definitely contact them on their home anniversaries. And remember, we talked about people move every 4 to 7 years. So if you're on your 4th year and you're calling them and like, hey, I see it's your home anniversary this year, you're going to pick up that, oh my goodness, we are talking about moving, or we need to sell our home, or we want to buy an investment property. And then finally, last activity that you want to do is going to be letter of the week. And this one is not as widely known, and very few people do this one. Every week, you start with a letter, A, B, C, D, so on, blah, blah, blah. And you call all of your clients that start with the letter A, and you go all the way down the alphabet. Well, there's 52 weeks in a year. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. That means that everybody's going to get a phone call twice for letter of the week. Now, we're gonna back up. We're gonna recap these guys real quick. Letter of the heart, every month. Evidence of success, every month. Client parties, let's say every quarter. And then birthdays, anniversaries, and letter of the week. 2. Technically, letter of the week is 2 because you're calling them twice. So that means that they're going to get 24 letters from you. They're going to get 4 phone calls from you, and they're going to see you in person, ideally 4 times a year. If you're in front of them that many times, who do you think is going to be the person that they think of when they need to move? Is it you? I think it'd be tough to forget you, right? If you're in front of them that much and you're calling and you're checking on them and you're sending them these letters and throwing parties for them, it'll be real tough for them to forget you. And that's really what it comes down to, doing the activities so that you stay in front of your clients, because this is a big transaction. I read a statistic that said there's 11 loans in any person's lifetime, home loans that they do, and there are 6 moves. So people will move 6 times or buy a house 6 times in their lifetime. Well, you'd want to be the agent of their choice because those are 6 transactions that you could have. And so this is more of a long-term play than anything. If you started doing this now and making these phone calls now and putting these into place, you will see an uptick in your production within 3 months. But that's not all. Let's continue. All right, any questions on any of these? I'm gonna check really quick on the chat and see if we have any questions on these. All right, cool. I don't see any yet. Be sure to put your questions in the chat, or if you can unmute yourself if you have a question, an urgent question, let me know. All right. And we are cruising right along. All right. We are going to step into the next part of this, and still love math, right? So we're going to go over some more numbers. I got to find my notes because if I mess up on math, that's really bad for a lender, isn't it? Okay. So remember we talked about mentality, being able to go in, you want that $100,000 check, you're going to get it. If you have to get 1 warm lead within that 24 hours, how many phone calls do you have to make? It was a pop quiz, just kidding. So you have to make 15 phone calls on average every day to get 1 warm lead. It's a numbers game. 100% it's a numbers game. This is calling your database or calling past clients, calling existing clients who are in escrow or house hunting. You make 15 phone calls a day, you'll walk away with 1 warm lead. Now, 15 phone calls, it has to be an excellent call, right? So what makes up an excellent call? Well, we're going to go over that here in just a minute. But 15 phone calls a day, 1 warm lead. Is anybody willing to do 15 phone calls a day to get 1 lead? Somebody that's raising their hand and saying, I want to list my house or I want to buy a house. Are you willing to do 15 phone calls to get a lead, 1 lead? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Do, 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 do. Come on, guys. There we go. We got this. Yes, love it. Lots of hands raised. All right, so 1 warm lead a day. Now, I don't know about you guys. I can work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. It's not very fun, though. I like having a life. I like camping and hiking and doing things with my family. So let's just say we're going to work 40 hours a week, 5 days a week, and we'll just for conservative numbers' sake. So if you're making 15 phone calls, you're getting 1 warm lead every day times 5 days in the week times 4 weeks in a month. That is 20 warm leads in a month. 20 warm leads in a month. Now, next step is kind of tricky because that requires conversion, right? You have all these warm leads. Now you need to convert them into a buyer or seller, buyer or listing. Now, these are warm leads, right? So these are people that have stood up and said, hey, I need to do something, or recommended, hey, my brother needs to do something. I know him. This is that warm lead, right? And probably the worst conversion that I've seen is around 30%. Being able to convert warm leads, let's just say at a 30% clip. Well, what's 20 divided by 3? Well, it's 6 and some change, right? So 6 deals every month. That is your conversion ratio. 15 phone calls, 1 warm lead a day, 20 days, 20 warm leads, 6 converted people every month. So not only did we talk about having 5 new closings, 5, I always want to say loans, gosh, 5 closings, 5 transactions every month. We're going to add 1 on top and say 6, because if you're doing the actions and the activities that matter, you're going to have an uptick in your production. Now, again, you can put a lot of this on autopilot. You can put the letters on autopilot. You can put the anniversaries and the birthdays in your calendar. Bonus points if you get a CRM system. You don't have to, though. I love CRM systems. If you have any questions about that or technology, we've gone through a ton of them. I can help you with that. But they can effectively put that stuff on your calendar. So all you have to do when you get that notification, pick up the phone. Then you're calling 15 people and you're having an excellent call, which we're going to go over, to turn that into 1 warm lead a day, 20 a month, and 6 converted transactions every month, buyers and sellers. All right, cool. Next, what do I say? So I'm not only going to tell you what you need to do, what the activities are, we're going to tell you what you need to say to these people as well. We're giving you the roadmap here. So 6 elements for a great phone call. One of these 6. Just have to do one of these 6 for a great phone call. So, number 1, enhance the relationship. So this is talking about, so like for example, you call someone on their anniversary and you see how they're doing, or their birthday, either one, see how they're doing. You ask 3 times when they say something. Oh yeah, it was good. I had to work today, but you know, I think we're gonna go out to dinner tonight to celebrate. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Where are you guys going? Any particular place? Do you have a favorite restaurant in mind? Oh yeah, you know, we like, well, my favorite restaurant is the Teller's Tap Room. So we like Teller's Tap Room. So I think we're gonna go there. Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. Who's going with you? Is it gonna be family or friends or a little bit of both? You ask a question 3 times, no matter what they say, right? Good or bad, you're enhancing the relationship. You're showing them that you care. You're actively listening to things that are going on in their life. And you're connecting with them because people want you, they want to have that human relationship with you. It's, if they wanted to be another number, they'd go to Wells Fargo, right? They go to Redfin, whatever that is. So being that connection and making that relationship with folks, you're enhancing the relationship by just having that conversation and seeing how they're doing. And again, you're calling them at least 4 times a year and seeing them in person. So you'll be able to, now the pro tip, if you have a CRM or even an Excel spreadsheet that you're keeping your folks on, this is where you put all those notes in. Oh, they just got a new dog. Oh, their kid just started kindergarten. Oh, the kid's going to college, you know, whatever that might be. Put those notes in because next time you call them, you can ask them about it. And it makes your job a lot easier. By taking those notes and keeping that relationship, I mean, if you have 400 people that you're trying to keep tabs on, you're going to forget what's going on in their life real quick. Versus if you have them organized, you can go in and say, oh yeah, Judy, they bought their house 2 years ago. They were talking about getting married, maybe getting a dog. They needed a house with a yard, so they could get a dog. I'm going to go check in with them and see how they're doing. Oh, okay. Well, maybe they need to move on. They're having a kid now, right? So they're going to upgrade. Oh yeah, we meant to call you because we're just getting too small. Our family's getting too big for our house. So we need more space, right? Enhancing the relationship. Sorry, went off on a total tangent there. Enhancing the relationship. So talking to them, asking three questions about whatever they say. Okay, next up, give a lead. So for example, if you're calling somebody, say you're calling them on the home warranty stuff, you have a new build, you call them at 11 months. Hey, just a heads up, wanted to reach out. You have your 1-year anniversary coming up, and you have another 30 days before your warranty is going to expire for the builder. Go through and do an inspection on your house. Let me know if there's anything that needs to be repaired or maintained. Oh yeah, you know what? We've been meaning to have our HVAC system looked at, or our air conditioner. You know, do you know of anybody that could do that? Oh my gosh, absolutely I do. Give a lead, right? Connect them with your HVAC person. That could be anything, right? Again, financial planners, CPAs, home insurance people, inspectors if they wanted to do another inspection for the home warranty. Gosh, the list goes on and on, right? Have your vendors lined up so that if they do need that, you can give them that lead, because again, that comes back to you, right? Obviously your vendors are going to be appreciative of that, but those folks are going to remember that you connected them with whoever that was. Okay, next one, get a lead. So this is something where, say you're calling past clients, you're going to ask for business. Hey, you guys, you know what? We got you into that house in the craziness of 2020, and man, that 2% mortgage rate is phenomenal. Did you know they're at 7% these days? That's just wild. Well, congratulations. You've got a ton of equity in your home, and we took great care of you. Would you happen to know of anybody that needs a realtor? Maybe they're not buying right now in this moment, but if they're thinking about buying, or they'd like some information on what the market's doing or what to expect, could you send them my way? Do you know of anyone that is in the market or gearing up to be in the market to buy a home or list a home? So get a lead, asking for that business. Another one, 6 elements, number 4 is setting an appointment. So listing appointment, this could be showing a house, showing houses. This could be meeting with vendors. This could be meeting with clients, talking to your CPA, shoot, even doing a brunch. I'll count brunch, right? If I'm talking about business, I count it. It's an appointment. Anybody want to go to brunch? No, just kidding. Anyways, so setting an appointment, and that can kind of run the gamut, right? If you're talking about business, and so many people are talking about the real estate market right now, for good or for bad, right? But setting that appointment and talking about that is huge, because then again, you're reminding people what you do. We have a saying, going off on another tangent, we have a saying in the lending world that says, shy lenders have skinny kids. Basically, if you're not marketing yourself, you're not making much money. And that's totally true in my industry. Has anybody heard that? Does anybody agree with that? Would that apply in the real estate world? Do you guys think so or not so much? Hands up or no? Yeah. All right, we got some good hands. Perfect. Yes. So if you're not marketing yourself, you're not reminding people what you do every day, they'll forget. You know, that's just how it is. They just forget. Okay, so setting an appointment. Again, that can count listings, showings, brunch, happy hours, coffee appointments, any of those count. Find a need, fill a need. This kind of goes hand in hand with number 2, give a lead, right? Find a need, fill a need. You're talking to folks, oops, we're talking to people about what they need, how life is going. You know, people divulge, they tell you a lot I'm surprised, I'm still surprised sometimes how much people do tell you when you're going through a transaction like buying a home or selling a home. Sometimes they can tell you really personal stuff. And so you can find a need, you know, as awful as it sounds. I have talked to folks through 2020 and 2021 that because of the close quarters of their spouse, they're now going through a divorce. And people have come to me and asked if I know a divorce lawyer or a divorce attorney. You can find a need or fill a need. Now, obviously, not everybody's going to come to you for something like that big, right? That intense. But it could be just as simple as like, I need a plumber or a landscaper. Hey, we wanted to redo the backyard. We have, you know, we need to get connected with a landscaper. Find a need, fill a need. And then the last one, it's kind of tough to do this. I know, again, shy lenders have skinny kids, but asking for the business is a huge component of getting the business, right? If you're doing all of these things, but you're not asking for the business or asking for that referral, you're making a lot of phone calls and you're not going to gain a whole lot of traction for those warm leads. So just make sure when you're on these phone calls, you're making your 15 calls a day, you're getting that warm lead, you're asking for business, you got it, right? Maybe they don't know somebody that's buying in this moment, but I know plenty of people that want to gear up to get ready for the next market. Anybody have that? Anybody have some sellers or buyers, whew, I'm sweating, that want to wait until the next interest rates go down or next summer, next spring, next whatever market? Yeah. Amen. Amen. Let's talk about that. Getting buyers off the fence. Sellers, this can be included for sellers. Now, think back for 2020, 2021, the craziness of that market. I know I talked to buyers that were just afraid of the market. I don't want to go up against 30 other offers. There's no way I'm going to win. We don't have the money for a $50,000 appraisal gap. We are, you know, first-time home buyers, and we could barely scrape together that down payment. Or people that said, I'm not going to pay $50,000 over the list price. They're crazy if you think I'm going to do that. How many people do you know that got out of the market in the last 2 years? If you can think of three people that you talked to in the last 2 years that got out from like exhaustion or just scared of the environment of the market, if you know of 3 people that left the market in the last 2 years, raise your hand. 3 people or more. Can you think of them? Take a moment and think. Take a moment and think. All right. All right, cool. We got some good ones. Call them today. Call them today. Tell them the market's changed. Hey, I have amazing news. The market is changed. We're not going up against 30 offers anymore. Have you thought about stepping back into the market? Oh, well, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's a good time. Hey, I know that interest rates are, you know, pushing on 7%, but that means that you have less competition. You're getting homes for under the list price. You're getting seller concessions. You don't have to bring an appraisal gap anymore. And you can refinance down the road. We have temporary buy downs that'll get you a lower rate, back to not 2%. Gosh, I wish. But, you know, 3-4%. We can do that to help you afford the house. To get into the house while everybody's looking over here, you can get into the house and then you refinance down the road. Buy yourself some time. Talk to them about the market. Talk to them about the products that you have or that your vendors have to help them afford a home, to make it easier, to lock out the competition. Anyone that you go back through your phone, go back through your emails, go back through your CRM if you have one, anyone that dropped off in the last 2 years, that's your homework. Call them, talk to them about the market. See if they have questions about the market. See if they want to get back into the market, or just educate them and get them ready for when it comes around next time. Worst case scenario, You're the person that talked to them. And if you're doing all the activities, you're the person that's going to stay in front of them too. That's one thing that we're helping our agent partners with, going through that, helping them, like coaching you on how to have that conversation, how to talk to them about the market, providing you with the education and the marketing if you need it. So if you need any of that, let me know. We're doing that pretty consistently with a lot of our partners, especially right now. Okay. All right, guys. Man, we are nailing this time. Okay, so we do these webinars all the time. We do weekly newsletter updates. That's maybe how some of you guys found us. We talk about the mortgage market, what's happening with the Fed, inflation, economic news, housing news, all the things, right? We do weekly newsletter updates. So if you want those, let me know. We also do monthly classes, kind of like this. We do master classes on business building. We can do sales and marketing. And of course, we do market updates. We have another class coming down the pipeline on market updates, talking specifically about what the Fed is doing, what you can expect in the next 6 months to a year, when we'll start to see inflation kind of simmer down a little bit. That's some of my favorite things to talk about. So we do a lot of market updates, and that's the next class that's coming out. And then we also help our people one-on-one. Any agents or teams, we can come in and do a presentation. We can coach you one-on-one with these activities. So if you have any questions on building that business, or you wanted to walk through any one-on-one help, just let us know. And that's basically it, guys. I will take any questions that you might have. I'm gonna check the chat here really quick. Okay. All right, so one question that I got was on the letter of the heart. So the letter of the heart, can it be a postcard? Can you send it out quarterly? So can you send out the letter of the heart quarterly? I mean, you can, but the whole point of the letters, the 2 letters every month, is that they're getting a piece of mail from you every month, and they're seeing your name pop up every month on top of the phone calls. And a lot of people, like, you know, you don't get a whole lot of like personal thank you cards and letters and stuff like that in the mail anymore. So it kind of adds a nice touch. And if they're getting it every month, it's going to be really tough to forget you. Whereas every quarter, maybe they go 60 days and they're not thinking of you. And in that moment, they could be wanting to list their house. So, and that company that we put on there was called Reaching Neighbors. Reaching Neighbors. So you just put in there what you want to say. You can build the postcard. They've got some like you can use, but you can go in and set that up basically on autopilot. So, all right, guys, that's all I got. I only saw that question. Unless something else came in, I don't see it. And I want to be respectful of everybody else's time. So we are coming up right on an hour. So I appreciate it. You guys have a great day, and I'm sure I will talk to you all soon. Bye now.